Billionaire left his pregnant wife in a snowstorm 9 years later. Her secret shocked him. The snow tasted like copper when Isabella's face hit the pavement. Not snow anymore, oh I see. Compressed by her weight and the weight of what was happening inside her body. Another contraction ripped through her abdomen, and she heard herself make a sound she didn't recognize. Animal, guttural, the kind of noise that belonged to something fighting for survival in the dark. She couldn't feel her feet. That should have terrified her. But terror required energy she'd burned through 6 blocks ago. Now there was only the mechanical repetition. Hands forward, knees forward. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. The streetlights bled orange halos through the falling snow. Empty warehouses loomed on both sides. Chain-link fences frosted white. Loading docks that looked like open mouths. No cars, no people. Just the wind shrieking between buildings and the distant wail of sirens that weren't coming for her. 39 weeks pregnant. No coat, no phone. No one who knows I'm here. The thought arrived with clinical clarity. The way drowning victims supposedly see their lives flash before death, except Isabella Whitmore, Isabella Blackwood. Though that name felt like a costume she'd been wearing for 9 years. Wasn't drowning. She was freezing to death in a $10,000 maternity gown while her husband's child tried to claw its way into the world. Husband! The word cracked something open in her chest. 40 minutes ago, she'd walked into Alexander's study and found him with Serafina, Caldwell's laugh still hanging in the air, his hands on her waist, that look on his face, the one Isabella thought he saved for her. She'd been wrong about so many things. Her palm slipped on black ice. She went down hard, catching herself on her forearms, the impact jolting through her swollen belly. The baby kicked once, sharp and furious, and Isabella sobbed with relief, because movement meant alive and alive meant she still had something worth crawling for. The contraction built like a tsunami. She rode it on her hands and knees in the middle of a frozen Manhattan street, counting seconds because the prenatal instructor said counting helped, and because if she stopped counting, she'd start screaming, and if she started screaming, she might never stop. 61, 62, 63. When it finally crusted and broke, she lifted her head. Headlights. 2 brilliant white eyes cutting through the snow, maybe 50 feet away. Engine running. Not moving! Isabella tried to stand. Her legs betrayed her. She got halfway up before her knees buckled, and then she was down again, staring at those headlights through the curtain of her own breath, wondering if this was how it ended. Frozen and broken in the street while some stranger decided whether she was worth them. Inconvenience. The rear door opened. A man stepped out, tall, dark coat, moving with the kind of deliberate economy that made the chaos around him seem like bad choreography. He crossed the distance between the car and her body without hurrying, stopped just out of reach. His eyes swept over her once, the ruined dress, the bare shoulders, the hand pressed against her stomach. How far apart? His voice cut through the wind. Not a question, an inventory. Isabella's teeth were chattering so hard she bit her tongue, tasted copper again. 3. The word fractured. 3 minutes. Maybe less. The man turned his head, said something to the driver she couldn't hear. When he looked back at her, his face was unreadable. "My name is Lorenzo Moretti," he said. "I'm going to get you help. Do you understand?" She knew that name, every instinct she'd honed in 9 years of moving through Alexander's world screamed at her to run, except she couldn't run, couldn't stand, couldn't do anything except kneel in the snow while her body tried to turn itself inside out. Lorenzo Moretti, the man Alexander called a problem that solves itself if you're patient. The man whose name appeared in whispered conversations at charity galas, always followed by a meaningful pause. The man currently extending his hand toward her like she had any choice left to make. Isabella looked at his outstretched palm, then at the empty street behind her, the path she'd crawled to get here, the trail of her own destruction disappearing beneath fresh snow. "My son is not dying tonight," She reached up. His grip closed around her wrists, warm, solid, absolutely certain. "Okay," she whispered. And somewhere in the Blackwood Tower penthouse, 3 miles north, Alexander was probably pouring Serafina another glass of wine, believing his pregnant wife was handled, disposed of. They raced like a line item in a failed acquisition. He had no idea what he'd just set in motion. Lorenzo pulled Isabella to her feet as another contraction seized her, and she gripped his forearm hard enough to leave marks. And through the haze of pain, she saw something flicker across his face. Not pity, something sharper. Recognition. The kind that happens when two people realize they're about to change each other's lives. But neither of them knew yet that Alexander Blackwood had just made the most expensive mistake of his career, and it would take 9 years for the bill to come due.